Yeah, that's what we're talking about right there. I'm much happier now that we've moved on to an upgraded setup. Hey there, internet. Keeve here, and welcome to the Cars of Keeve YouTube channel. And what you see before you is the much anticipated Ryobi 1200 PSI 1.8 GPM automotive pressure washer. Now, in car washing and car detailing, we actually value flow a little more than pressure. We just try to target our pressure between 800 and 1200 PSI normally. That's all personal preference. That flow makes for a more efficient rinse because there's more water, which means it's easier to get the surfactants, the foam, and that type of stuff off the surface. Now, you're gonna get a lot of people who are gonna say, just get the $99 one. You don't need the more expensive one. You don't need the flow. In the end, the car is gonna be clean. And that's a valid point, really. But I prefer more flow. I like the way it rinses. And the cheaper Ryobi 1800, about the most flow you're gonna get is around 1.4, 1.45 with a 3.0 nozzle. You can get that. It's about a 900 PSI or so. This one, I'm hoping at 900 PSI, we can target like 1.6, 1.7 gallons per minute. I don't think it's going to do the 1.8 that it says. Comes with a 35-foot GFCI power cable. Comes with a shorter stubby nozzle. I don't know how they did it. Supposedly there's supposed to be some regulation out there on safety, but I don't know. Maybe it's because the country, I don't know the country of origin. I have to go look on the box, but it's very light, like extremely light. The trigger isn't bad of a pull. It's a pretty decent pull. The only problem is the angle is like, as your hand is straight out, the angle is way up there, even more than an MTM. And you have to turn it down to get it to shoot straight. So there is going to be a little fatigue in here compared to some other ones. The quick connect is a little weird because it seems like it's maybe stainless steel or some other type of metal. I don't even know if that's zinc plated. I can't quite tell. But then it's got a brass outer sleeve here. You have an M22 14mm at the bottom here. It does not swivel. That would have been a really nice touch, Ryobi. I really don't use wands, but this is a nice little bit shorter. It's not really long. Here's the gun with the wand. Now that does kind of help you because if you're angled up, this angle here kind of helps you shoot straight. Comes with a Ryobi foam blaster. I don't even know if it's really a foam cannon. I opened this up in the back. There is no orifice in there. There's a really big hole in the back. So we'll see how it does. It does move from vertical to horizontal, which is a nice touch, but you cannot adjust your spray pattern, you know, from stream to wide fan. So it's basically just going to be wide open the whole time. You have an adjustment on top. You pop it open and there's just a stiff straw in there. These companies will never learn. They design the dumbest crap, I swear. Like, I don't know. And the hose, we go from dumbest crap to this. This is absolutely horrible. It's 40 foot though. That is nice, 40 foot. This was laying across here when they packed it. You can see it left a dent in the hose. It's like a accordion air hose reel. And yes, you can turn it and get it to straighten out, but its memory is just so bad. I hate these. You do get some okay nozzle guards. They're really not, I don't know if they're really truly nozzle guards, but the best thing about these is the fact that you know when it's on there, whether you're shooting a vertical or a horizontal. That's the biggest thing because the plastic is lined right up to the front. As you can see, I mean, it has the rubber to be a little protective, but like I said, the plastic is to the outer edge of the rubber. This rubber doesn't even run over to be protective or anything. So you still have hard plastic right here, but you have a 25 degree, it's a 3.4. You have a 40 degree, it's a 3.4. And you have a 15 degree, but it's marked 4.2. They were definitely trying to be as thrifty as possible to use the old case because this is the exact same old case, the same bottom, the same handle, on-off switch, everything but the color of the output here is the same. And the handle is meant for the old cheap wand. In the picture on the box, it shows this being clipped in. It's not clipped in. This does not hook on here. That's a big miss. To me, like your picture shows. Because if you have this on here, the weight is not going to allow you to do what the picture says. It's not going to do it. Now here's the cheaper $99 1800 Ryobi and then the automotive side by side. Can you tell which one's which? I couldn't. I could tell you one difference is on the outlet on one, it is kind of a bronzish color, and the outlet on the other, it's kind of a brassy type color, but I really can't tell if that's actually brass or not, or if that's just the plating. This one definitely looks more like aluminum, but you see the pressure switch. The part number on them is different. The input is the exact same casting. You can see the pump head is exactly the same, but the motor on the back, I mean, they're identical, which is good for manufacturing. It's cheaper. So if you made your pick, which one is which? This one's the automotive pressure washer. This is the 1800. Now I know I may be a little critical of what's going on here. When they say automotive pressure washer, me as a reviewer, I'm expecting a little bit more, but this wasn't targeted for me. This is targeted for the masses. You go to the store, $99 one, $149.99. And I'm like, oh, I just want to wash my car with it. You see everything there, you're like, automotive pressure washer, picking it up. That's the target audience. For most of us that are obsessed for reviewing, people are probably just gonna pick up the pressure washer. They're not gonna use any of these accessories. But if you're just buying it to wash your car, this is definitely a way better package than the cheap $99 one. The $149.99 is worth it for that, for sure. You can check in the product tags of the video. I should have a link to this if it's available. That kind of gives us a little bit of a commission on our side on this channel to support the channel, but it takes you directly to Home Depot. And that's the only place you're gonna be able to get it other than Ryobi.com, but it says coming soon on their website. So don't forget the links below for anything in the video. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Let's get to the testing. So here's our setup over here. I have our Flexzilla hose coming in to our Ely spray wand to a quick connect. Went right in, no problem. We've taken the hose, we've hooked it up here. This can be done either way, it doesn't matter. Hook it up to the gun here to just screw on, hand tight, no tools needed at all. Let's see if it leaks. No leaks. Let's turn it on. Sounds a little bit different than the Ryobi, not as high-pitched of a scream. So how about the stock noise level from about, we'll go up here. This is about 6 feet right here. I'm gonna point this around the corner because this actually makes about 83 or 84 decibels of noise, just the spray coming out. 80 decibels, not bad. Let's get a little bit closer. Still 80 decibels, I'm gonna get closer. Yeah, it's 80 decibels whether I'm 8 feet or I'm like 1 foot away. The decibel doesn't change, but the decibel of this, it's actually almost 90 right there, about a little bit far away, about 84. So this is louder than that, and this is actually closer to your ear than the machine is. Now I would test the original, the noise level, but it's literally in pieces over there and I haven't put it back together yet. But I remember doing it years ago and I did it with a phone though, but it was like 82, 83 decibels. Oh, I can definitely tell a difference in flow. And it has a little bit, it's pushing my hand back even at the lower pressure. That's not bad. I'm gonna take this off and just do it like this. I have much more control over that because all that water coming out of the one at the end is creating leverage. Now that we have this, we have leverage against it and it's not pushing back. That's a nice uniform spray. And it's not even like tight. It almost has a little bit of curvature on these outer pieces. Usually they're like straight out like this. Now what we'll do is kind of split things up. I have a meter on the wall that can measure gallons per minute and give me the number instantly, but it can be off 5%. So that's going to give us a general idea for many of the nozzles. And then later on, we'll do the manual test with the bucket to verify, to make sure with a few of the test nozzles and maybe 1 or 2 of these to see. But initial 25-degree pressure, about 910 PSI. Let's check the white one. They both say they're 3.4, should be the exact same. It's about 925, but the machine is getting broken in. We'll put the 25-degree back to see if it's increasing. If it doesn't, then the cut between the two is slightly different. Now the cut between the two is not exactly 3.4 for both. Slight difference. The 15 degrees, a 4.2, going from a 3.5 to a 1.2 is a significant change. We could see a couple hundred PSI drop here. Yeah, 675. But it hits pretty good. So let's check amps on the white 40 degree. We're 13 amps, a little more than I expect from Ryobi because at the same PSI, when you get the cheaper one, we're only at about 10 and a half or so amps. The orange one being a slightly bigger nozzle, we were expecting less amps, and it did, about 11.8, which is kind of what I was expecting the white one to be. 13 is a little high from what I'm used to for something like this, but it's still well within a 15 amp outlet. So let's check the initial GPM on the meter over here. White nozzle about 1.55 GPM. Green, the green one's about 1.6 GPM. Look at this. This is what I hate about this hose. I absolutely hate it. But let's check the orange one. That's about 1.68 GPM. I was kind of hoping for 1.7. We're close, but that's off the meter. We'll do some manual checks later. So let's see if we can dial it into exactly what we want with our test nozzles here. We have several different sizes, and these are what you can normally buy, the 3.0, a 3.5, or 4.0. This is a 3.0. This is gonna be slightly more pressure, but we'll see if it's within the amps. About 1,075. So that's pretty good right there. What's the amps? 13.9, so safe on the amps. It's not bad there. That gets you the 1,075. See what the gallons per minute is on this. About 1.48 gallons per minute. So actually with this nozzle, we get more pressure than the cheaper $99 1800 Ryobi and more flow. Because on the Ryobi, to get this kind of flow, we're like 900 PSI. We're almost at 1100, like 1075. All right, we have a 3.5 here. Let's see what its PSI is. We're actually getting 930, so their 3.4 might be closer to actually a 3.5. These are very accurate. These are made in the USA, very precise cut. Done a lot of testing. They're the most accurate nozzles that I've found. Let's check the gallons per minute in amps. About 1.58 gallons per minute, and we're at about 13.2 amps or so. Here's a 4.0. That's more doable. It's about 755 PSI. Let's check the gallons per minute. 1.66 gallon per minute and about 12.4 amps. So a little bit more on the amps, obviously because we have a little more pressure, but the gallons per minute didn't seem to suffer too much. I kind of like this one right here. In a 25 degree. If I was going to run a 40 degree, I would run the 3.5. Just for the heck of it, here's a 4.5. About 640 PSI. Still hits pretty good. Get 1.73 gallons per minute, and we pulled about 11.3 amps. That's not bad at all. And some people do run their $99 Ryobi at this level at about 650, 700 PSI to get exactly 1.5 gallons per minute. Now we're getting 1.73. We've gotten up, well over a 10% increase. So we have incredible Suds in here from DIY Detail. It's 32-1. That's the same dilution I use in all of my videos. Code CARSAKEEF to save you 10% at the House of Rags or DIYDetail.com. Just an amazingly good soap. It just foams really well. Let's see how well it can do. I'm going to put this all the way to the right, but it could be the opposite direction, but we'll find out. We have it vertical. Let's see how it foams. It's not judged too soon because I think it may be a turn to the left. Most foam cannons, it's all the way to the right is max. This is all the way to the left. Ah, there you go. Still just poor. And I guess you could use a thicker dilution, but I don't want to. And this is the Raincovo Snow Pro. It's my favorite foam cannon. It's back in stock. Again, I saw, and it's at about 27, 28 bucks. Really good. And with this kind of performance, this kind of flow, I think this is going to do pretty good foam level at a 1.25 size nozzle. Yeah. Yeah, that's what we're talking about right there. Let's show how that foam gets rinsed down with the stock 40 degree nozzle that comes with it. Not bad. This is my 4.0 test nozzle. You can see with the 25 degree nozzle, it takes a little bit longer to rinse because your pattern is much smaller. Now this is the bucket test. This is a much more precise way of getting our gallons per minute versus the meter on the wall. We have a stopwatch. We'll do exactly a minute. We have a teared out scale at 0, so the bucket weight doesn't matter. and then we'll see how much weight's in there in a bucket. We divide that by 8.34, and that's gonna be our gallons per minute. Not perfect because obviously I'm a human and that's a stopwatch and like, but it's more accurate than the meter on the wall. This is stock 40 degree, but this nozzle guard is so big here, it just doesn't work. I'm gonna have to run it through here on the quick connect, and then we'll screw down the lid and go. So 13.86 divided by 8.34, 1.66 gallons per minute. So a little bit more than the meter said. So the meter was on the lower end, which is good because we thought it was like 1.58. It's 1.66. We have the 4.0 nozzle that gave us about 750 PSI. I'm really hoping for like 1.75. Let's go. We got a little bit more. 14.22 divided by 8.34, 1.705, so 1.71 gallons per minute. So this is 4.5, gets about 625 PSI. We'll see whether or not this increase in flow is worth the drop in pressure. So 14.82 divided by 8.34, 1.78 gallons per minute. So we're close to 1.8. One thing I want to check though, not gallons per minute, but I want to check to see if we can run a 2.5 nozzle and get 1200 PSI on the machine under 15 amps. So we can prove it can get 1200 PSI and we can prove and get 1.8. You just can't get both at the same time. 2.5 nozzle, it's actually about 1300 PSI. Let's see what the amps are. Yeah, but we're slightly over on amps. Constant running amps is like 15.1. And I can smell the machine. It's not liking it. It's a little birdie smelling. Now we've got it hooked up to a 50-foot Uberflex hose, which is a 1/4 inch. So we have 10 feet longer, but could we have better performance? I think we're gonna have better amp reading for sure. I think we're gonna lose some restriction there, but we'll see. Maybe it's not much of an increase, but who knows? So we have the 4.0 in here earlier that we did, I think about 750 with the stock Ryobi setup. What is the Uberflex going to get PSI wise? 815 amps, 11.6 amps, and the wall says 1.75 gallons per minute. We know it's doing less. Can we get 1.8 gallons per minute with the Uberflex at 810, 815 PSI? That'd be nice. One thing to check is, can we increase our stock nozzle, which was about 925 stock? Can we get 1,000? 1,005. We got 1,005. Another reason to hate the stock Ryobi hose. It's restrictive, adds amps, takes away performance. The upgraded setup is the way to go. The 2-2-LUT gun here with this swivel. I mean, this swivel is so good, and this is under pressure. The swivel, the Rankovo, and the Uberflex hoses are going to be about $110 added on. $250, $260 setup. So let's see what the bucket GPM is on the 810 PSI. It's coming from the 4.0. And then we'll move on to the 3/8 hose to see how much of a difference there is there. I'm not changing the camera angle for this. So we got 15.0 on the dot divided by 8.34, 1.7985, 1.8 gallons per minute at 810 PSI. That's pretty good with the Uberflex. Way better than that stock restrictive crap. I'm much happier now that we've moved on to an upgraded setup. So we have my current setup, which is actually slightly longer than Uberflex. It's probably about 58 foot because of all the jumper hose to run from the Ryobi to my fixed fans hose reel. The 3/8 Kevlar hose to the 2-2-LUT gun here. So the 4.0 nozzle, the stock was about 750 with the Uberflex and all the upgrades. We're at about 805, 810. Now with the 3/8, see if we can get some more. We're at about 825. So that's way better. Now with the Uberflex, it was like 1.798, which is 1.8. Can we get a little more? A little bit more. So 15.15 divided by 8.34 is 1.816. So 1.82 gallons per minute. A little bit more and a little bit more pressure. So we're proving the bigger hose is less restrictive. The machine works a little bit better. And we're getting some dang good numbers now. This is a good buy either way. If you're somebody's looking to buy this setup to wash their car to get a slightly better setup, you've got what you need. The performance is there. You're about 925 with the 40-degree nozzle at 1.65, 1.66 gallons per minute. That's pretty dang good out of the box like that. But with the Uberflex and with the 3/8 hose, we were able to get the 1.8 gallons per minute. And I know we can get the 1200 PSI under 15 amps as well. So we got both numbers. We didn't get them together. The 3/8 hose, slightly more than the Uberflex, but the Uberflex, Rain Covo, and Tutu Luck is a great little $100 combo to add to that to be a great $250 setup. So don't forget to check out the links below for anything in the video. Don't forget to check out the product tags below as well. That gives me an affiliate way to get through to Home Depot from YouTube. We get a little bit of commission. You help out the channel a little bit, but you can do whatever you want. You have to go to the store to get it, whatever you need to do. So don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Now I know I've been a little critical. Now I know I've been a little critical of things here. Now I know I've been a little critical with things. Now I know I've been a little critical with, oh my gosh. Now I know I've been now I know I've been a little critical, and even the angle that you're like instantly, my fucking throat is just damn. 10 amps that every time.